my name is Grace Ang, and our topic is dishonesty in advertisement. I'll be present the research question. So our first research question is, to what extent do people receive advertisement as accurate or honest in their portrayal of their products and services? The second research question will be, how effective are inaccurate advertisements to consumers? The third one will be, what kind of advertisement do consumers feel are most inaccurate or dishonest?
Hi Miss, I'm presenting.
I'm Felicia.
Okay, so today we would like to present you our introduction. Okay, firstly, so what is advertising? Advertising is a non-personal communication of information usually paid for and usually persuasive in nature about products, service, or ideas by identified sponsor through the various media. Advertising is the method used by business, companies, or organizations to promote their goods and service to the public. Okay, second, there are various types of advertising. First is print media. Print media is the advertising that print on paper, example like newspaper and magazines. Second is broadcast advertising. Broadcast advertising is a mass market form of communication. The example is TV, radio. Then third is internet. Internet can be stated as the best medium for advertising in today's. For example, like many brands companies have made fan page of or group of communities on many social networking sites where advertising is looked for new launch and products by the companies are given.
What is deceptive advertising? Deceptive advertising is prohibited and actionable under federal law, which prohibit unfair competition. And also, it is the use of misleading statement in advertising that has the potential to persuade people into commercial transactions. Types of deceptive advertising. The first one is fake testimonial. This is used to promote a product so that people will pay more attention to this fake testimonial and the company will earn money. The second one is unsubstantiated claims. This is a problem in any industry, but especially those that can be dangerous to the safety, health, and welfare of others. The third one is vague description and false promises. Next slide. So here is the influence of advertising on people's behavior. Advertisement is the mirror of the society. Companies create advertisement according to the characteristics of society. Advertisers try to influence the society behavior. Advertisers try to influence consumer behavior according to their emotions. They make different advertisements for different communities and different age groups.
According to the mirror theory, the industry simply takes its contents from the cultural, transform, and then throw them back. The meaning of image and ideas are infused into image and ideas. The selling function of the advertising message limits what is mirror. Promotion is always positive. Commodities are presented as the root to happiness. The desired image reflected by the advertising is conservative, an effect of appealing to the lowest common cultural denominators with which all will agree and which can offer as few as possible.
Okay, for the first literature review, the first one was conducted by Zi Hongdao and Hong Jia Zhang in 2011. They have conducted a study of Chinese and US consumers' attitudes towards advertising regulation. And the objective and the purpose of their study is to investigate consumers' attitudes towards advertising regulation in local context and in order to achieve the objective of the study. And the result was a pilot study was conducted in the summer of 2008 to test the instrument among 41 Chinese and 39 US consumers of diverse demographics. And Feedbacks from the pilot study were used to revise and improve the questionnaire. And the result was the Chinese respondents opposing the ban and those supporting it are almost in equal percentage. However, 52% of the US sample believe that the government regulation of advertising is important, and 58% disagree that the business do a good job regulating their own advertising. And the second will be Alex Wang in 2011. He examined the effects of firms' advertising disclosures as a reflection of CSR practices on consumers' responses. And the result shows that the consumers' positive attitudes towards firms' advertising disclosure positively enhance their attitudes towards firms' CSR practices and perceived trust towards the firm. And the relationship between advertising disclosure and CSR practices were examined by study. And the third literature review was approached by David M. Gardner in 1973. His aim was oriented approach of a receiver with the aim to examine the deception in advertising from a perspective of behavioral. The result is that the consumer combines a number of different objects, values, perception, ethics, and related with concept of make-up belief system of a particular product, which is organized through hierarchy of responses where the firmer the belief, more advanced the response in the hierarchy. And the fourth study was conducted by Xing Sheng, Xie, and Ya Hui, the research of relationship between deceptive claims and ad effect. The result found out that the humorous ad types influence the advertisement attitude, and that humorous ad type moderate the relationship between deception claim and types of ad effect.
The fifth literature review is that according to Drake and Beijing 2007, the study was formed by indicating that this belief arising from exposure to deceptive advertisement has vastly different effects from those identified in previous studies. The main purpose of this study is to analyze the ideas, conducted a series of experiments that manipulated the deceptiveness of an initial advertisement. Advertisement deception not only undermines the credibility of advertising as a whole by making consumers broadly defensive towards future advertising, but also produces effects that are especially long-lasting. Okay, the sixth literature review is the Chatterton and Crofts 2006, a study of complicity, seduction, and deception in marketplace, identifying the imbalance between the conceptual development of the seduction concept and its empirical basis. The purpose is to increase an understanding concept of experience as consumers. The respondents will firstly refuse to admit that they have been deceived, seduced, or persuaded by sales assistant or advertising. But somehow, as the interview continued, respondents started to talk more freely about how they have been influenced by actors or models involved. The seventh literature review is that study was on the Hong Kong study of advertising credibility, which is the objective to identify for which types of products and services consumers find that advertising consists of lack of credibility. Last but not least, the Baron M.J. conducted a study of brand usage and gender as moderators of the potential deception associated with partial comparative advertising, with the purpose to examine the vulnerability of consumers to the potential deceptiveness of advertisement containing comparative claims that name one or more competing brands. The result also showed that female non-users also exhibited the greater sensitivity of any gender or usage group to the advertisement type manipulation, as indicated by the strength of the effect size estimate reported. This study focuses only on examining vulnerability of consumers to the potential of deceptiveness of advertisement containing comparative claims that name one or more competitive brands.
My name is Kumar. I'll be talking about the significance of dishonesty of advertising. First, the government would be interested in our studies because the media industry is concerned about the rise of false advertising among society, a problem which has been exaggerated for quite some time. And second, we can find considerable evidence that supports our study. The media industry will be keen to use this information to further improve their advertising efficiency. Furthermore, information regarding to what extent people perceive advertisement as accurate and honest in their product and services can make the advertising companies aware of their effects on the people and the society. Finally, our study helps the future researchers to understand that that advertising is a method of growing a strong, reputable and recognized brand and to generate and increase brand awareness.
Next, I will present the methodology. In order to answer our research question, we aim to employ a survey questionnaire as our method of getting results. This method can give us quantitative results that should be easy to gather and analyze. Our target will be the young adults from 18 years old to 38 years old. Our sampling method can be considered purposive because it only selects those who are within the age range of 18 to 28 years old. We will select participants in Malaysia and compare with people in other countries. We will distribute our questionnaire to 100 people to obtain a large enough sample size that can increase the prospects of generalization. We use simple random samples as our sampling method. We will select 60 people from our questionnaire and pick randomly in another 40 people. So this is a sample of our questionnaire survey. The first question will be, do you watch or read advertisement? The second one will be, among the mass media, which medium of advertisements you touch the most? And what is your understanding of advertising? What is your understanding of the aim of advertising? And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being most interest, how much attention do you pay to an advertisement?